Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to catch you up with a few things that have been happening on the flower farm. I've been trying to make a video for a few weeks now based upon the various things that have been going on, but I just get too busy and then I lose the flow of the video. So I've got lots of footage that I have actually started to film of the various things that have gone on the farm, and I haven't it doesn't really have a flow. So what I thought I would do is just kind of show you what I'm up to now at the moment on the flower farm, and also we can have a look at the stuff that I have been doing as well over the last few weeks. So basically I've been kind of running workshops, doing markets, killing off my cover crops and sowing next year's seeds, and also planning things like Christmas wreath making workshops, and kind of thinking as well about how the business is going to grow in the future. What I'm doing today is I'm waiting for some compost to be delivered so that I can carry on sowing my autumn sown hardy annuals. I posted a picture last night on Instagram of my autumn sown hardy annuals that have germinated already, and loads of people were asking me what I'm growing, and I'm sure you guys would be interested too. Maybe you are one of those people over on Instagram. If not, then go and give me a follow, because I post lots of lovely flower photos on there and things that I'm up to kind of daily on the flower farm. So yeah, lots of people were asking about that, so I'll show you what I've been sowing, and we'll sow some more. I'll show you my current seed sowing technique that I'm using at the moment, and also how I'm handling my cover crops at the moment. Literally not a day goes by where I don't talk about cover crops, so I'm really sorry if you're not interested in cover crops, but I am, and I think they're great, so I'm going to continue to talk about them daily. But they take up quite a big proportion of kind of the way that I think about how the farm's run, because I want the soil to have living roots in it all the time, and it's not necessarily true that I've always got cash crops in the field all the time. So it's important to think about how I can kind of chuck those cover crops in to make sure the ground has got living roots in it all the time. And then I did a market the other week, last weekend. I picked lots and lots and lots of flowers. I picked basically all that I could pick off the flower farm. Quite a few crops are kind of slowing down now. Some beds are just filled with cover crops totally, so there isn't a crop coming out of some fields. But I picked it all, and then I kind of was in two minds about whether to pick more. Well, I couldn't have picked more because I was doing it all on my own and I didn't have any extra help. I was running a workshop the day before the market, so I couldn't have picked more the day before. I was in two minds about whether I was taking too much or not enough. But anyway, I took 40 bunches and I sold 40 bunches, which was great. So I'm hoping as well that quite a few people took a picture of kind of a sign that I'd made about upcoming workshops. So I'm hoping that a few of those people who kind of became aware of my workshops are going to book onto those as well. So that's one of the great things about doing a market, is it's quite hard work. You are stuck to a venue all day, but people do become aware of you who weren't necessarily aware of you before, which is good. Anyway, whilst I'm waiting for my compost to be delivered, I'm going to go and deadhead some of the zinnias, because the new flowers are coming a little bit few and far between, so I'm hoping that doing a little bit of deadheading is going to encourage new flowers on the plants, and I can continue to cut for a little bit longer. I've decided that while I'm here I'm going to chop down this auroch because it's turning brown now and it's not really useful to me anymore, so it's got to go, and it kind of looks ugly. It stands above everything else and it just looks brown and dead, and I think a few people just think that it's weeds that I've let go to seed, so I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to chop out some of this fat hen as well, and a few other weeds that are sitting amongst the zinnias, and then chop off all of those zinnia deadheads. Amazing how just a little bit of work does make things look a lot better. I was starting to feel like the field was getting taken over by weeds, but there were a few kind of plants that were very spreading around that kind of, once they were cleared, it looked a lot better. So behind me, you can see things are looking a lot clearer. All I can really see now is either a cover crop or a flower, which is a good thing. I deadheaded all of the zinnias, so hopefully we'll get some nice new stems off them. I might even give them a feed and a water tonight because it's very dry at the moment. And I'm about to start seed sowing, and I thought I would just show you the ingredients that I'm using in my seed sowing mixes at the moment. This has literally just arrived. This is the Eco Thrive Eco Life soil, and like I said before, this is more of like a potting soil. As you can see, it's got perlite and things in it, but I think it has kind of like it's got worm castings in it, it's got seaweed meal, I think it's even got some kind of insect meal in it as well, so that kind of helps to add nutrition and things like that. So I've heard lots of good things about this and how the difference is kind of night and day between using this and normal composts. And actually I think it might be worth doing an experiment today just to see how that pans out. So last time I sowed with this, I was using a 50-50 mix of this and Melcourt Silver Grow for seed sowing, which is this stuff here. It's peat free, and yeah, the quality has been a bit up and down. I've heard good and bad things about it. I've actually just covered over all of these seedlings here just to try and give them a slight bit of shade because it's very hot in here. So I'm going to be mixing my seed compost here in this tray. It's a little bit dry, so I've just watered it, but hopefully kind of putting some new compost in there will help with that as well. I'm also going to be putting some mycorrhizal fungi into all of my seed sowings. I did this last year and I had really healthy plants, and then I stopped doing it for some reason. I think I just decided to, once I'd ran out, I didn't buy any more, but I've bought some more to try again because I think it's really worth trying to kind of foster those fungal connections between the plants and the fungi in the soil, so that will help the plants out in the long run. So in here already I've got Cynoglossum, some Achillea, which is a perennial for next season, some Lavatera, Mallow. I've never autumn sown this before, so it'd be interesting to see how that does as an autumn sown. There's some Honesty there that needs bringing out of here really, some Foxgloves that need potting on and bringing out, some Nigella, some Campanula, which is a perennial, a new variety called Bluebell, a new variety to me anyway, and then some giant poppies, some Ami, some snapdragons, and some scabious, some more snapdragons, and there's some Hesperus there. And what's in this other greenhouse? I've got some cornflowers and some calendula there, which is an orange variety, and there we have some eucalyptus and some more Honesty, and this is some echinaceas and some Nautia Macedonia. These were potentially going to have to need cold stratifying, but it looks like they are germinating, which is great. I'm not sure whether I could put that down to the compost or whether they were actually from the fridge section, I noticed on my seed order, so they have been pre-chilled already. It's 47 degrees in here. The maximum was 53. I'm going to put it underneath that mesh netting and see whether it's actually reducing the temperature at all. I think I'm actually going to do this seed sowing outside because it's too hot in that greenhouse. Forgot to mention actually, because the compost is a living compost, you cannot water it with chlorinated water, which is basically tap water. Tap water has chlorine and chloramine in it that they use to treat the water so that we don't get infections ourselves. So I've been using this Neutralise stuff from Eco Thrive. They sent me it as part of a package with some other things in, and it's actually vitamin C, which I didn't actually know to begin with that fixes chlorine and chloramine. So I just drop about 7 drops of that into my watering can, and I water my seed trays before I sow anything into them, and then we're not harming the bacteria and the kind of beneficial microorganisms that are in our living composts. Right, I've sown some larkspur. Bunnytails grasses, that it's actually a seed packet that I've had for ages. I'm not certain that it's going to germinate at all, but I thought, why not chuck it in? And if it doesn't germinate, I need to chuck that seed packet away. And then I've sown Ami, Dorcas, Calibri poppies. I've got some stocks to sow, but the stocks, I haven't got anywhere to plant them because I'm not going to grow them outside. I would prefer to grow them in the tunnel, and the tunnel obviously isn't ready for planting in yet, so that will have to wait until I've got a better plan for that. I am going to be coming out here later to pick flowers for my flower shed this evening, and for a wedding bucket order for tomorrow, so I'm not going to kind of try and overdo it and do too much all day today. So I've just picked this watermelon, and I'm going to go and tuck into that and maybe do a bit of editing on the computer, and then I'll bring you out with me later on when I'm picking flowers for the shed. The shed's been going really well, by the way. I'm really kind of happy with how it's all going this season. Everybody's been honest, and I seem to be selling lots of bunches of flowers out there, so yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's going, and I'm glad that I kind of invested the money in the shed and everything and the signage to put it back up and running. So hopefully I can keep going until we get a frost and it's all the flowers are gone. So I'll keep selling flowers up there. I did actually think this morning when I had loads of like patty pan squashes. I know that it's the kind of summertime problem. Anybody who's growing any veg is going to have a glut of courgettes and squashes and things, but I did think I could maybe put some of those up there if I can't get through them all myself. But yeah, it's really hazy out here tonight. Apparently, oh look, there's a bird of prey on the top of the shed there. Yeah, it's almost as if there's like a fire somewhere that's making it hazy, but I heard earlier on that it was going to be very misty and foggy tomorrow, so maybe that's what it is. It's the mist rolling in. Nelson! Yeah, good boy! So this is what I picked. Some nice long strong stems on the snapdragons, some helichrysum, some achillea, some cosmos, some scabious, some statice, lots of zinnias, and there is some phlox there. So I just need to go and pick the dahlias from the front field. Well, the weatherman was correct, or whoever said it was going to be misty today was correct, because it's very foggy and misty today. So I'm just going to sort out the flowers that I picked last night, because I didn't sort them into the bucket that the bride is coming to collect versus the honesty box, the flower shed flowers. So I'm just going to have a little shuffle around with those and put some of the paper together for the bouquets, and then I can get started on making the bouquets for the flower shed. I actually picked some interesting stuff that I thought you might like the look of. This nasturtium, I'm loving this bright orange. I think that will go really well with the kind of purple colours, so you'll have to stay tuned to see how that looks in a bouquet. It is kind of drooping downwards, but I think if I can do the placement right, I can get it to kind of stand upwards a little bit. Flower shade open, and I just had to put these signs back because I took them to the market that I did last week, and I don't have enough in my buckets back in the workshop to make more, so I do need to pick some more flowers if I'm going to make some more bouquets, which I will do at some point today. Flower shade stocked up. I wanted to take you back a couple of weeks to when I killed off my cover crop in my new flower field. I'd waited a little bit too long to kill off this cover crop, and I had noticed that some of the plants had started to go to seed. So I'm kind of concerned about that, but I'm just getting on with the job in hand, which is to mow down the cover crop and cover it over so that it's killed and it's ready for planting again. The plan is that I'm going to mow it over with the lawnmower, and then I'm going to cover it with some silage sheeting that I bought specifically for the job. And then I'm going to wait a few weeks, and hopefully whilst the weather's still warm before the end of summer, I'm going to sow an overwinter cover crop, which will probably consist of rye and vetch. Job done. Now all we have to do is wait. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I hope to see you again soon.